All right, so are you ready to dive into some seriously intense apocalyptic literature?
Always.
Today we're looking at Revelation chapter 11.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys sent this one in, and let me tell you, this section is jam-packed
Intense.
with symbolism and apocalyptic drama.
It's a wild ride.
So let's unpack this thing.
Okay.
Right off the bat, we get this instruction to measure the temple of God.
Okay.
But here's the catch.
Yeah.
The outer court, the part given to the Gentiles, is left out.
Mm.
Now, why is that detail so important?
Well, it's like drawing a line in the sand.
Right.
Measuring the temple
Yeah.
is about defining who's in and who's out of God's favor.
Interesting.
And that whole bit about leaving out the outer court,
yeah.
well, it raises some questions about how different groups are included or excluded from religious communities.
Yeah, throughout history.
Exactly. It really makes you think.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
It's like this measuring is setting the stage for judgment
Right.
and division, which are themes we see all over apocalyptic literature.
Okay.
But then things get even more interesting
Yeah.
with the appearance of these two mysterious witnesses.
Mysterious, that's right.
Who are these guys?
That is the million-dollar question.
I know.
The text doesn't give us much to go on.
Yeah.
It just adds to the mystery.
Right.
Some scholars think they're like throwbacks to those big names from the Old Testament.
Like who?
Like Elijah and Moses, bringing down fire and plagues. But what if it's even bigger than that?
Okay.
What if they represent the church itself, standing up to opposition in a hostile world?
I like that.
Yeah.
And speaking of standing up,
Yeah.
these witnesses are given some serious power.
Oh, yeah.
They can call down fire from heaven, turn water into blood,
Yeah.
and even unleash plagues to mess with the weather.
They're not messing around.
No, they're like walking forces of nature,
Powerful.
prophesying for this very specific time period.
Yeah.
1,260 days or 42 months. Does that time frame sound familiar?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It lines up perfectly with that time when the Gentiles are treading the holy city underfoot. So their ministry is all about challenging the powers that be during this chaotic time.
I see.
They're like this beacon of hope, a voice crying out for justice.
Right in the middle of all the chaos.
Exactly.
But as you can imagine,
Oh.
this kind of defiance doesn't go unnoticed.
Yep.
Enter the beast from the bottomless pit,
Here we go.
ready to wage war against these brave witnesses.
Oh, boy.
And this beast is bad news.
The worst.
Capital B-A-D.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate representation of evil
Right.
and chaos.
It's like those forces that are constantly trying to silence the truth.
And crush anyone who dares to speak up.
Exactly. And sadly,
Yeah.
the beast succeeds.
At least for a little while.
for a time.
The witnesses are killed.
Oh, no.
Their bodies left out in the street
Like on display.
for 3.5 days
And both.
to the very world that celebrates their death.
Wait, people actually rejoice over this?
I know.
That's messed up.
It's a chilling image, isn't it?
Yeah.
It shows just how deeply the world has fallen. So corrupted that it celebrates the silencing of truth.
Wow.
The witnesses with their unwavering faithfulness
Yeah.
have become a nuisance,
Really?
even a torment to those who reject their message.
Wow. That's a powerful image.
It is, and it really sets the stage for what comes next.
I can't wait to find out.
But don't worry, listener. This isn't the end of the story.
Oh, I was worried.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
This is where we see a major comeback.
Oh, yeah. Things are about to get biblical.
You got that, right?
Just when it looks like all hope is lost,
Yeah.
these seemingly defeated witnesses pull off the ultimate comeback.
You said it.
They're
yeah.
resurrected. They come back
Rising from the dead?
right in front of their enemies.
Imagine witnessing that.
It's like a mic drop moment.
I know, and the spectacle doesn't end there.
Nope. They don't just come back to life.
Right.
They ascend into heaven,
In a cloud of glory.
leaving everyone below in shock and awe.
Like something out of a movie.
I know.
Only way more powerful.
Yeah, this resurrection and ascension
Yeah.
speak volumes about these core Christian beliefs.
Right.
About conquering death and good triumphing over evil.
It's a powerful reminder that even when things seem impossible,
Yeah.
God's plan will win out in the end.
I bet those who are celebrating their death
Yeah.
are feeling a little sheepish at that moment.
A little bit.
The text says that great fear fell upon those who saw it.
Yeah, can you imagine?
I can only imagine.
It's a moment that shakes them to their core,
Right.
forces them to confront the reality of God's power.
Yeah, they can't ignore the truth anymore.
No, they can't.
And speaking of shaking things up,
Oh,
that's literally what happens next.
here we go.
A massive earthquake
Yep.
rocks the city.
It causes widespread destruction.
and takes a heavy toll.
A tenth part of the city is destroyed.
That's some serious damage.
This earthquake isn't just about physical destruction, though.
Oh.
It's symbolic. You see,
what-
God's judgment.
Wake-up call.
Exactly.
It forces those who saw it.
And us,
Yeah,
as we read about it,
right.
to really look at the consequences of our actions and to acknowledge a power greater than ourselves.
That's interesting how the text describes the survivors' response.
What does it say?
It says they were affrighted,
Yeah.
understandably so,
Of course.
but they also gave glory to the God of heaven. Even in the midst of devastation, there's this recognition of God's power.
It's like this mix of fear and awe,
Right.
recognizing the power of a higher being.
Like a moment of reckoning.
Exactly.
And then just when things couldn't get any more dramatic,
What happens?
we hear the blast of the seventh trumpet,
Oh,
signaling a major turning point.
here we go.
Heavenly voices declare, "The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ." It's like the ultimate power shift.
It really is. This is the culmination of God's plan.
Yeah.
The final victory of good over evil
The seventh trumpet heralds the arrival of God's kingdom,
on earth
a reign of righteousness and justice.
that has been long awaited.
I love how the text contrasts the reactions to this declaration.
Yeah. How
The 24 elders in heaven, they fall down in worship, completely humbled.
Right.
Meanwhile, the nations were angry.
Oh,
Tension
I know.
between those who embrace God's rule.
And those who resist.
It's a struggle that we see all the time.
Throughout history, even in our own lives.
Absolutely. And as if to punctuate this pivotal moment,
Yeah.
we shift back to heaven,
Okay.
where the temple dramatically opens,
Oh.
revealing the Ark of the Covenant.
Ark of the Covenant.
Cue the thunder, lightning, and hail.
It's like a cosmic unveiling.
Of epic proportions.
It's a powerful image, isn't it?
I know.
Of God's presence and power.
Being fully revealed.
The Ark of the Covenant. A symbol of God's covenant with his people.
Right.
It's on full display now.
Yeah.
Showing the fulfillment of his promises.
It's a moment of awe and trepidation,
It really is.
reminding us of the weight and grandeur of God's plan.
Yeah, it really is like the ultimate reveal.
Uh-huh.
The heavens opening up,
Yeah.
the Ark appearing.
Powerful image.
Yeah, of God's authority.
Yeah. And the coming judgment.
Right, and it ties back to that measuring of the temple,
Right.
showing this connection between earth and heaven.
Exactly. It's a beautiful and terrifying image all at once.
It really is.
And it shows just how important the temple is
Right.
as the central point of God's presence.
Throughout history.
You see this in so many different religious traditions.
It makes you wonder, though,
Yeah.
where do we fit into all of this?
Right.
What does this story from Revelation
Yeah.
have to do with us today?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think this passage gives us a few things to think about.
Okay.
First, it reminds us that even when things are chaotic,
Even when evil seems to be winning,
yeah,
God is still in control.
right.
His plan will succeed, and justice will be served.
That's a comforting thought.
Especially when we look at the world today
Yeah,
and see so much division and suffering.
absolutely. But it also challenges us
Yeah.
to examine our own lives.
Our own choices.
Are we aligning ourselves with God?
Good question.
Are we working towards a better future?
Or are we adding to the chaos?
It's a call to action,
It is
to participate in building a better world.
a more just and compassionate world.
Exactly. And finally,
Yeah.
this passage gives us hope.
Yes.
It reminds us that even in the darkest times,
Even when we feel lost,
God is with us.
he offers us resurrection
Redemption.
and the assurance that love will win in the end.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is.
So much to think about in just one chapter.
It's been a wild ride.
It really has.
It shows that these ancient texts
Yeah,
still have power to challenge and inspire us.
absolutely. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
It was fun.
We hope you've gained some insights into Revelation.
Such a fascinating book.
And until next time, keep exploring and keep seeking truth.